Good luck. Alright, here we are. A little lonely today. We're the only Jetta hanging out in a field of like mostly solstices. I had hoped that I would catch I caught the right group. I just didn't catch apparently the right time because all the Jettas are not here this week. We're at Sebring at nighttime running the full international layout. So we get a free win out of this. I kind of wish maybe I'd recorded the other race I ran. I ran a previous race just for making sure I'd get some points out of it this week. I ended up getting probably more points than I'll get from winning this. So we're gonna let these 5 kind of take off.
Catch up, 12 car.
And we'll stay back here. There's 15 total in the race. There's 9 Pontiacs, 5 Mustangs, and I'm the loneliest Jetta in the world. I kind of was sad because the other race I was in yesterday had 4 people. 1 guy no-showed, 1 guy disconnected halfway through the race and reconnected, and the other guy was light years faster than us at the time. And we're not as fast as that car was, so that's the positive. As long as I don't screw this up, we should be pretty good. And this is a good track to kind of walk through a little bit here. We'll be seeing this sometime soon. This 12 hours of Sebring is coming up in just under a month. We'll be taking some much faster cars around the exact same track for that race. And let's see here. I might be able to. Probably can't do it now. It's probably too late.
This is a long lap.
It is a very long lap. Especially when you are just trying to pace here. It's normally about 2.5 minutes for me in the Jetta. And for the Solstice, it's going to be slightly more than that, probably closer to 240. 235, 240 in there, and the Mustang's going to run around 220 at its fastest, I think. So we're just going to hang back here.
Catch up, 12 car.
iRacing, no. iRacing, please. We're trying to gap here to make sure that we have no issues. So there's a lot of crazy turns here to get through. Now this is far less bumpy than the track supposedly is, and it's far less bumpy than the Assetto Corsa version of this track, which is a conversion from, I believe, R Factor 2. But that is just like, that just bump that all over the track. You're just bumping all over the place and holding on. If you want to take a look at that, there's a V8 Supercars video we did from last season where we raced that, and I would suggest checking that out if you're so inclined to see how it is.
Pace cars in. Green,
there we
green,
go.
green.
Green flag. Up to 5th. Up to 6th. Down the concrete here. Because it kind of it'll transition from the concrete. This is the old airport runways. Turn in. Get on the gas a little bit. Take that nice and inside there so we can have a nice wide exit. And up into turn 2. I forget all of the tracks. I know the names of some of the corners, but I forget there's the bend and whatnot. Le Mans corner. I forget some of the corners' names. I haven't quite learned them all perfectly yet. here we go. Head down to the hairpin here. Shift down to third. Nice and tight. Nice acceleration on exit. Flip that curve a little bit, keep it nice and straight. And off to the left there is actually where the old circuit used to go before they changed it some years ago. On the fourth. On the gas as we get back through that corner. Now we're on the gas up through here. Up to fifth. Brake early here. Trail brake a little bit into the corner. Slightly on the gas. And now full. Let's make our way around it. Down here. Quick couple of lefts here. We want to brake for this corner. Pitch it inside. We get on that curb. Nice exit. Get on the gas back out here, ride out to the outside. Keep as much of that speed as we can. We got this big long straight toward the sunset bend, which is the 180. It's not really a hairpin, but this is where you can get into a lot of trouble by going way too fast in this corner. I always brake a little early. I know a lot of people will just carry a lot of speed right into here. Under the bridge, there's a little bumpy there. And we take a nice line, nice wide line out to the outside. Up the sixth again, and that was a 239. Not surprising, given that it was the first lap. Don't really need to push it too hard here. Well, let's see if we can get a 229. I've gotten my possible best is a 228.9. Which is faster than I've seen anybody run on this track at all. But I did run a 229 in practice, so I know it's possible for me to do it. Oh, I always want to be careful with that turn. Really easy to get on the outside there, get into the loose dirt, and then you scrub a lot of speed going down this big, long straight toward the hairpin. And a hairpin too, real good place to lose a lot of time. You brake too early, increase the pressure as we go, or you get out on the gas late. These are all things that can kind of mess you up a little bit. Someone told me with the Jetta, the thing is it gets really good low end torque on low revs, so you don't have to wait for at the red line so much to make your shift right when it flashes like that. Again. The trail braking and accelerate out. It's a lot of slow corners followed by fast straights. And this is very difficult to get perfectly. This is another one we want to. This corner in particular, you want to scrub a little bit of speed to get good exit, because you can lose a ton of time. Those are two corners that you really have to watch the exit speed, because you can either be going way too fast and you just lose it onto the grass or outside the track, or you can slow the car down a lot more than you need to do. Okay. I didn't quite get through there as much as I had hoped. It's probably be like a 230 somewhere. 229.2. Okay, well that's the fastest we've ever run here. That's our new personal best. It was previously a 229.8, but 229.7 actually. So let's see if we can't push it a little bit further. Don't want to get a lot of wheel scrub on exit here, because that will just slow you down. There's a lot of important corners. So yeah, the 12 hours is going to use the same layout at night. Much faster cars. I don't know if we're driving the Ferrari GTE, the Ford GTE, the prototype, the GT3. We're still deciding that. We're trying to divvy up teams as well. 12-hour race. I'll probably drive for 3 hours, so we'll need 4 drivers. That's probably not going to be a good lap. I went way too hard into that corner. Unless we can pick up the time we lost there in this corner. Ooh, probably not. I kissed that curb. You can be really aggressive on these corners. Those are flat curbs. Oh, I braked a little too late there, but I'll save it. Go. Let's put a tire a little bit off there. See a DRS zone on this long max straight for when you have cars that have that, which the Jetta does not have a DRS. Because it does not have a rear wing. It's a Jetta. Taking us fast. Let's see how we did. Come on. 230.2. Yeah, I scrubbed a little too much speed there. Turning with a little too soon. It's really hard to get your marks in the dark here. This will be a slower lap. You have an idea of where it is? You can see the little light catchers there, illuminating the way around the track. It's kind of like an old video game. Like from the 70s when that was, you know, the only thing they had was you had these little lights and you had to drive your car. I'm not old enough to remember that as a child. My childhood was like Mario Kart and F-Zero. So I've seen plenty of pictures of those tracks. I've played my fair share of old racing games. The old Namco F1 game, where the only track was Fuji. Surprisingly, not in iRacing. Go figure. Much better. The biggest time loss you can get around here is just taking a corner too fast or catching the curb, getting a little bit of wheel hop. That'll slow you down. That's actually pretty good. Momentum wasn't quite right there, so I'm going to lose a bit of time. In that corner, I needed to be turning in a little bit earlier. But kept it clean, kept it on the track. This is a really good track, and actually this is a really good race if you can keep it out of the walls, keep it on the track. This is a really good race to pick up a lot of safety rating at. I lost a lot of it doing my my other races this week, and I gained it all back in the one practice race I did here before I recorded this one, because I had a perfectly clean race. And you only get about 11 laps in, just because it's about, 2.5 round. So there we go, that's much better. And then we can accelerate out. Didn't quite use all the track there. Also, apologies if my voice sounds like hell. I am recovering, I think, from a sore throat or some kind of cold, some kind of infection in my nose. So I do sound a little rough today, but it could be worse. it's been getting better throughout the day as I've been up and about, so I'm not too worried. So this track has always kind of been, I guess, for me, Sebring's always been one of those tracks where I've struggled really bad at. Spa was another one. I had a lot of struggles there. It's just because these long... It's kind of weird. I can't say it's these long twisty tracks that throw me off, because I'm also pretty darn fast at Circuit de la Sarthe, aka the Le Mans 24-hour circuit. I don't really have an issue there. Oh, a little too much turn in there. But
Great, that one, great.
there we go. But I was gonna say that, yeah, for some reason, I don't know if it's just the nature of Sebring, I've never really been a huge fan of the track. It's very flat. I'm gonna say, duh, it's Florida. Of course it's flat. There's not a lot of elevation changes in Florida. Nope. You get more elevation change at Daytona than you do at Sebring, and that's saying something. But yeah, Sebring's fairly flat. To me, I think it makes it more difficult because when you have elevation changes, you kind of know when to expect turns. You can kind of look at things and be like, oh, okay, well, you know, I see this marker, or I see this crest coming up here, and then there's a turn after that. So I don't have to worry too much. Oh. But here it's flat as you can possibly see. So, like, whole parts of the track you can't even see until you get up to it. And really, with Sebring, the only thing I've found is just you have to know the track. You have to know what corners to expect, and that's kind of the case with every track, but especially with this track, because there's very few markers, like visual markers, that let you say, oh, well, I know that, you know, this complex is coming up right now. You just kind of have to know it's there, and you just kind of have to expect it. And here we go. But yeah, I've been racing this track in other games for some time. In iRacing, I've been racing it as well. A little bit here and there. I usually avoid it. But yeah, this is kind of me having to face down my fears. Because if I actually want to drive the 12 hours, I'm going to have to learn how to do this track without killing myself. Albeit in a much faster car. So this has been pretty good practice this week, actually. I know I'm going to be the slowest guy again. That's alright. Actually, a little bit too slow there. Understeered a tiny little bit. Oversteered a tiny little bit, I should say. Car actually went up and over the inside curb just slightly, but it's not too high, so you don't have to worry about it being like a sausage curb that would bounce us into the air. Kind of getting that approach that a lot of people use to get into Sunset Bend, which is that final bend we just went through. That can be a race killer right there, because that's a place where you get a lot of pile-ups happening, because everyone kind of is funneled in through that one tiny opening. There we go. And you get one guy going sideways there, and the pile-up commences, so you have to be really careful. The first time I ever raced this was in Forza. I think it might have been Forza 2 or 3, back on my Xbox 360. and it was tough, and I drove it with a controller, so I didn't quite have the input precision that I get with the wheel. It's kind of weird that the animation didn't. I guess maybe the animation only goes to 90. Yeah, the animation only goes to 90. I've got the wheel cranked a little bit past that right now. A lot of things I've been learning how to do, including trail braking. That's kind of my new thing to learn. My new technique is learning how to trail brake better, which is where you get on the brake and you kind of let up a little bit. Oh, crap, yeah. I just carried that too wide. Well, we can still make something good out of that. Even 1x will be, you know, a decent amount of points. Probably like not as much as we would have got if we kept it clean, but I can kind of feel the tires trying to be like, no, don't do that. I didn't like that either. Might be starting to wear a little bit, so I should probably be a little more careful on my lines through here. Tire wear may be starting to play a factor here. We only got 4 more laps, so shouldn't really push it too hard anyways. I'm not really racing anybody, I'm just racing myself. Working on improving every lap, working on inputs into trail brake and feather throttle around the right corners. As I was saying, trail braking is something I'm learning to do, and that's kind of where, let's see if we can find a corner where we can demonstrate it a little bit more for those of you that don't. I'm sure most of the people that watch these videos are familiar with the term, but in case you don't know what it is, it's where you kind of drag the brake with a slight amount of pressure while you're turning in, and then eventually start to let off it, so you're actually braking a little bit more. You carry a little more speed on turn in than you normally would. That was kind of I didn't brake as hard as I could have there. I braked a little too much there. So really driving, a lot of people think you drive, and this was a good bit of advice that I got just from watching tutorials and learning from other people. A lot of people think you drive with your hands, you know, it's just a matter of turning the car just right. Yeah, there's definitely a little bit of understeer coming into that corner now. A lot of people think you drive with just with your hands, with how you control the wheel. You actually drive a lot more with your feet. It's knowing how much pressure to put on the brake to carry as much speed as you can through the corner without overdoing it. It's knowing how to apply the gas, where to apply it, to get the best acceleration out of the corner. So you do a lot of driving with your feet, because that's where your control is. Your hands are just telling the car where to go. Like your feet are controlling the pace, they're controlling the acceleration, the deceleration. You're driving in a car that has a manual, you're using the clutch to kind of shift in and out. Oh,
I couldn't handle the pressure.
jumped the curb there a little bit. A little too tight in. Even with that mistake, it was a 231, 261, so that's not horrible. I was going to say, if you're talking pass left, that means that they're catching up to the rear of the field. I don't think we have to worry about them too much. We just got this one Solstice that's running really far behind everybody else. That's who we have to focus on here. And it's worth keeping in mind as your stint goes on, as the tires wear, you get less gas in the car. The way the car handles will change a little bit, so you have to adjust the way you're driving to fit that a little better. Because you're taking rear weight out usually with taking the fuel out of the tank. And iRacing does a fairly good job of simulating that. You also lose traction in the tires, so there you go. Tell me to pass left. I will do so.
Car on your right. Clear on the right.
Oh, and you can see everything gets really bright. So we've got this guy behind us. No problem. There we go. Nice and smooth and easy. So we're on lap 10, 2 to go. You don't want to steer too much into that corner. You lose a lot of speed. And that's natural. You're gonna run your fastest laps at the start of the race. That's when your tires are freshest. So yeah, 11 laps sounds like what it's gonna be. Which means if we make it around without getting lapped this time, we will be good to go. Probably notice I'm slowing down a lot more in the hairpin corner there. Just because I don't have as much grip on the tires. I've probably been sliding them a little bit too much, to be honest with you. It's okay. Got nice, smooth acceleration out of the corner there at the apex. Let off the gas a little bit there just to get through. Alright. So I'm hopeful next week we will have some more Jettas to race with. It's kind of been lonely this time around. Mostly clean race, except for that one off that we had going into one fast corner. Just need to watch our tires here around Sunset Bend as well, because make sure you get nice and close here to the inside, get a nice exit, we'll be fine. I should mention too, about 30 seconds from now, as we're going, you're going to start hearing some booms and bangs. Don't be startled by that. There's fireworks. Oh, there's a 232. Yeah, I can definitely. You feel the tires going off here at the end. Also, kind of being a little bit more conservative, not really pushing it as hard as I can. There There we go. Here's your fireworks. You can hear them. You just hear them right down there. Just hear the boom, 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 boom. It's very nice. Yes, fireworks are a real thing that you will find in endurance racing, especially at the end of the race. Get lots of fireworks, especially if it ends at night like it does here at Sebring. Otherwise, they just kind of do it during the middle of the night, I think. At least they do during Daytona. The real life Daytona, not the iRacing one. Unfortunately, the fireworks don't go on forever. They go out at some point here, just like in real life. It's a really cool visual, though. I think it just stopped, but it's a really cool little visual they added to the service for this track. Finish this off right here, right now. Let's take this nice and easy getting to the end here. Nice and smooth, nothing to worry about. So that's probably where I'm losing most of my time, is coming through Sunset Bend. I've been slowing down quite a bit there.
Go ahead and finish, David.
There we go. And we're done. Alright. So that's a win. It's a class win for
That's
us.
the checkered flag. Great job, driver.
Damn right. Great job. Kept it clean. Kept it going. Alright, yeah, come on, dude. Finish up. Come on, you can do it. Mostly because it's good to have everybody finish. Yay, we finished. Everyone finished. Hooray. That's good. That's always good. Well, I'm going to go ahead and just park it on over here. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed this brief tour. It's kind of boring for me, but brief little tour. Oh, we did 231 at the end. Okay. So we did pick it up on last there. That's good. But thanks for watching. Next week we have a different track to go to. I will see you then. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.